Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back. We have completed the first Thirupathikam and we are continuing our journey to the second Thirupathikam, and in this we are going to talk about the very first verse. The beauty of this verse is it describes Lord Nataraja, which is the cosmic dancer, all the way from the foot to the head. We call it as the toe to head description. There is a very beautiful sentiment in our Tamil literatures. Usually what they do is when they want to praise a particular king or someone who is very wealthy or even a beautiful lady, anytime they want to praise a human being and they want to sing verses on them, they will usually start all the way from the head to the toe. That is the order. But when we are singing about the Almighty, it's always the other ways. We have to start from the toe and you have to go all the way to the head. That is how that is what our culture is all about. That's what our tradition is all about. And this Padikam is also resonating the same thing. This particular second Padikam is written for temple, which is Chidambaram, and there Lord Nataraja, who is the cosmic dancer, is being described all the way from toe to the head. Let's look at the very first verse. Thiruchitrambalam. Uyar Kodi Aadai Medai Padalatin Omaduma Padalatin Piyar Nedu Madat Agil Pogai Padalam Perugiya Perumbatra Poliyor Siyaroli Manigal Nirandu Serkanagam Nirainda Sitrumbalakutha Mayar Varum Mamarar Magudam Thoivalar Sevadigal Yen Manathu Vaitharule. Tiruchitrambalam. Indeed, this is a beautiful verse. You know how you have to visualize this particular verse? Imagine there is a drone that is flying above Tiruchitrambalam, which is Chidambaram temple. The drone is slowly coming down, as in zoom in, right? It's slowly coming down. And what are the pictures that is going to be visualized there is beautifully given in this particular verse. So the first thing, when the drone comes down, you will be able to see all the buildings, the tall, beautiful buildings. That's exactly the first lines talks about. It seems there are so many flags that is flying so high. What is the meaning of a flag flying high? It means the place is so wealthy and the place is prosperous. Imagine if some mishap is happening in a country, the first thing we will do is we will immediately lower down the flag. So flag hoisting and flag flying high and above means the place is wealthy and prosperous. So this particular place is also considered to be a very prosperous place. That's why all the homes, they have beautiful flags flying. Number one. Second, imagine the drone is coming a little bit lower, and the next thing they will be seeing is all the because due to the temples are doing all their pujas and prayers and all these on a regular basis. So because of that, we are able to see the holy smoke that is coming out of it, and that is the entire place is covered with that particular smoke. So that's the next one. So first we are seeing the flag, and then we are seeing all these, and then again the drone is, imagine the drone coming down a little bit. Now the houses are also performing the pujas regularly, and because of that, the smoke that is coming out of our altar is also over there. And in this particular place, the entire place is so prosperous that it is filled with gold, and it is not just the gold alone, but it has been ornamented with all the precious gems in it. So all the precious gems have been put up into that particular gold sheet, and that has been decorating the entire streets. Can you imagine what level of prosperity we are talking about over here? The streets are having gold. just imagine, right? So that's the prosperity that this particular verse is talking about. And further down the drone goes, in that particular place, all the devas are coming and worshipping Lord Shiva, and that particular place is filled with holiness. The real wealth is Lord Shiva's lotus feet. And according to this particular verse, the author, the poet, is requesting, he's actually a saint, he's requesting Lord Shiva's feet to be in his thoughts forever. It must be in our thoughts forever means we need to be constantly meditating, because it's habituated. When we think of something constantly, that is what we will become. So when we start thinking about Lord Shiva's lotus feet and we start meditating in it, we will surely see that the feet is residing in us. That's how this particular verse is designed. So beautiful. As I said, visualize it as if you're flying in a drone and the drone is just zooming into this thillai and you're able to visualize Lord Shiva's lotus feet. Lovely verse indeed.
Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupadigam, and in that the second verse. The second verse goes this way. Thirumaaligai Tagadu Thirumaaligai Thirumaaligai Kalandengum Perubala Mutti Nanmarai Thorilal Yedil Migu Perumbatra Puliyur Thiruvalla Deva Padividi Nidiyam Tiranda Sitrambala Kootta Uruvalarinva Silamboli Alambum Unnadi Kedadenuyire. Chitrambalam. Again, another lovely verse. We already said this particular entire padigam is designed in such a way that it is explaining, or rather talking about each and every part of the cosmic dancer. Yesterday's verse we spoke about his foot. Today we are talking about the same feet but which is hanging in the air. The feet that is dangling in the air is the one which is going to give us realization. So today's verse talks about that beautiful dangling feet. Let's look at the verse one by one, as in one by one statement. The first line itself says, it talks about the natural beauty of the place. It seems there are dark clouds coming in, and it looks as if the clouds are pregnant. It's coming with so much of abundance with the water droplets, and it is going so low that it is almost it's almost coming to the ground level in such a way that we are able to see all the big castles and the palaces are going across this particular cloud. Can you imagine how beautiful the place is defined? So which means the place is filled with richness, only then you can have castles, and at the same time it's filled with natural resources. That is why the clouds are coming in, and that too with abundance. And this particular place is called as Chitrambalam, and in this place there are people with Vedic rites doing their rituals on a regular basis. Without fail, they are able to do the rituals. And in this, they are talking about 3 types of fire which is used for performing the ritual. One, it's called as Agavaniyam. Agavaniyam simply means the fire that is used in temples. We are able to see that, right? The fires that we are able to see. The next one is Karugapatyam, which represents the fire in the houses, because when we are performing these kind of rituals, we do have certain rituals to be performed at home on a daily basis, right? So those are called as Karugapatyam. The third type is called as Dakinakini, which means whenever we are going for a travel, not we, as in the Vedic ritual, the people who perform the rituals, when they travel, they bring along this piece of fire with them so that they can use it in the other place when they are performing the firework. This is what we are calling it as mukti, which is 3 types of fire, and they are chanting the 4 types of Vedas. Because of this, the place is filled with beautiful smoke, beautiful sound, and full of positive energy and full of richness and wealth. And this particular place is called as Thirumaaligai. The reason is there was one saint called as Vyagravadar, which simply translates as his feet. He prayed to Lord Shiva, he performed rituals to Lord Shiva, and he got the feet of a tiger because he wanted to climb trees in order to take the flowers and perform puja. Imagine, he changed his own body only to perform puja. Today we are able to see we are changing our body just to show that we are beautiful. We are changing our nose, we are changing our height, we are changing our skin tone, whatever. But what is the point in doing that? Absolutely nothing. After 20-30 years, it's going to be damaged. It's all going to be just given off. It's given off to the 5 elements back. But these saints, that's why they are saints. They got their body transformed in order to perform pujas. That is why this place is called as Thirumaaligai. In this place, Lord Shiva is performing the cosmic dance, and the feet that is dangling in the air, that is the feet that I want my soul to rest in peace. That is what the second verse is all about. Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back. We are going to continue our discussion on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupadigam, 3rd verse. The verse goes this way, Tiruchitrambalam. வரம்பிரிவாளை மேளிர் மாடு கமலம் கரும்போடு மாந்திடு மீதி பிரம்பிரி சென்னல் கழனி செங்கழுநீர் பழனம் சூழ் பெரும் பற்ற போலியூர் சீரம்பூரை முடிவான் அவர் அடிமுறையால் இறைஞ்சு சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா நிரந்தரம் முனிவர் நினைத்திரு கணைக்கால் நினைந்து நின்றொழிந்ததென் நெஞ்சே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். So, the last 2 verses we had already been talking about both the lotus feet. So we spoke about the foot that is stationed on Muyalagan, and the other one was the dangling foot. Now today we are going to talk about the calf muscles. Just imagine if Lord Nataraja is in front of you, all the way from his feet, you are going to just start admiring his beauty all the way to his head, right, to his hair. So that is what we are doing, and the 3rd verse talks about this aspect in a beautiful manner. Now, when you talk about this verse, there are 4 lines. The first 2 lines are dedicated for the natural beauty, and the last 2 lines are dedicated to Lord Shiva. This implies that you can't separate Lord Shiva and nature. Both goes hand in hand. So that is the reason we are talking about these 2 together. The first 2 lines talks about the field, paddy field, and in the paddy field it is filled with water resource. Because of the water resource, there are beautiful fishes in there, and also we do have sugarcane trees or plants over there, and there are buffaloes which has eaten to its fullest and it is laying down there. We are able to visualize this place using the first 2 lines of this verse. And this kind of a natural beauty, or rather the natural resources, are there in this place. This place is called as Thillai. Chidambaram or Tiruchitrambalam, and in that place Lord Shiva, as a cosmic dancer, he is performing the dance. And when you talk about his dance, obviously there are people to worship him. One is the Devas. Devas are here to worship Lord Shiva, and they have specific method to worship because they have been taught how to worship. Fine. Now the next question we may have in mind is, what if I don't know how to worship in the proper manner? Does it mean that I should not be worshipping? Should I be keeping quiet? The answer is no. We can also worship him as per what we have in mind, as long as we have love. The fundamental element is love in order to worship Lord Shiva. So that is the one they are talking about in the third and the fourth line. The third line talks about Devas are coming and worshipping Lord Shiva, and in the fourth line he says even people, the normal people as well as the saints are coming in and worshipping. Even though they don't know the proper way of worshipping, they are filled with love and they are trying to resonate this in front of Lord Shiva. And when I'm able to see, when I'm seeing his calf muscle, I'm losing myself. That is what this third verse is all about. So just visualize Lord Shiva in front of us and just start meditating on this. We will be able to see beautiful way of the cosmic dancer.
Sivaya Naman, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion on second Thirupathikam in the 9th Thirumurai, and we are moving on with the fourth verse. The fourth verse goes this way, Tiruchitrambalam. தேர்மலி விழவில் குழலோலி தெருவில் கூத்தொலியே தொலிவோத்தின் பேரொலி பறந்து கடலொலி மலிய போலி தரு பெரும்பற்ற போலியோர் சீர்நில இளைய திருநடத்தியல்பில் நிகழ்ந்த சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா வான்மாலி முலையாள் வருணிய திரள்மா மணிக்கூரங்கடைந்ததென் மாதி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். We have been talking about this padikam in a very specific format that we already discussed. It follows through Lord Shiva in the form of cosmic dancer all the way from the toe to the head. So this is the approach that we have been taken. In the last 3 verses, we have already spoken about the feet, ankle and the calf muscle. Today, we are going to talk about the lap. What kind of lap is there with Lord Shiva in the form of cosmic dancer is being explained here. This is not a physical explanation that we should be visualizing. Rather, this is the analogy that is being used for calling something as Nada Bindu Tattvam, which means Lord Shiva and Shakti are together. Lord Shiva is resonating one of the agamas to Shakti, and this is being the agamas is being transmitted through the thighs. That is the information, but it has been used as an analogy as if Goddess Parvati is sitting next to Shiva and she is holding on to his lap. Right. Now, where is he stationed? He is there in Thillai, Tiruchitrambalam, and he is performing a cosmic dance. What kind of a place is this? That is what the first 2 lines of this verse is very beautifully explaining. Imagine if a place is filled with happiness, joy and full of festive seasons. We can imagine there will be so many chariots. I mean, of course today is like vehicles, but back then it was all chariots and all these, right? So the chariots will be coming in, there will be noise because of the chariots, people will be flowing in, and there will be a lot of different varieties of sounds that is coming from that place. The first one that is being expressed in this verse is because of the chariots, there are a lot of sound. The next one is people are using musical instruments to sing the praise of Lord Shiva and also to make sure that they are showing their emotions through music, because music is the best way to express our emotions. So people are using something like a flute and all these, which is also making a lot of musical notes, or rather the sound. Apart from that, there are people who are dancing and they are performing dramas and all these. So that is also in one side making a lot of noise. Not only that, people over there, some of them are chanting mantras or even chanting Thirumarais. So those are all the different varieties of sound that is filled in air in this entire place. It sounds as if this entire sound together, the entire environment sounds as if it is another ocean, another sea, where a lot of noise, because we are not able to differentiate between the sounds that is coming from the sea as well as the sound that is being generated with all these around there. This is the place where Lord Shiva is performing the cosmic dance, and that is where Lord is there, and our Parvati Devi is holding on to his lap, and that is the place, which is the lap, is the place where my soul, my mind, my heart is permanently residing. This is what the verse means, which is the fourth verse means on a high level. Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back with our continuation on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupadigam, 5th verse. The verse goes this way. Tiruchitrambalam. நீரைதழை வாழை நிழல் கோடி நெடுந்தெங்கு இளங்கா முகுளம் கொள்நீள் பலமா பிறைதாவள் பொழில் சூழ் கிடங்கிடை பதன முதுமதில் பேரும் பற்ற போலியூர் சீரைகொள் நீர் தரள தீரள் கொள் நித்திலத்த செம்பொன் சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா பொறையணி நிதம்ப புலியதளாடை கச்சு நூல் புகுந்ததென் பூகலே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். When we look at this 5th verse, we have been talking about Lord Shiva, which is the cosmic dancer, and we have been talking about, or discussing rather, about all the way from toe to the head. So we have been talking about 4 verses, and now today we are going to talk about his dress. And where is cosmic dancer dancing? We all know from Chidambaram. In that particular place, based on the earlier verses, we could understand what kind of a place was this. It is filled with smoke, the holy smoke. Not only that, it is filled with all holy sounds as well, the good vibrational sounds. Not only that, it is filled with all the flowering plants and all these. Today, in this verse, the verse is being described, or the place is being described as the entire place is filled with fruits, orchards. When we talk about the orchards, which is very important for us while we are doing Abhishekam, as well as when we are doing puja, we need to bring fruits to the temple. Not only that, we bring fruits, and at the same time we will also receive fruits when we are going to the temple. What kind of a fruit are we talking about here? According to the Indian tradition, Hindu tradition, rather the South Indian tradition, we always consider 3 types of fruits, or 3 fruits which is very, very auspicious. One, banana. The second one is plant, as in the jackfruit, and the third one is mango. These are the 3 which is considered to be very, very auspicious, and if someone is able to serve these 3 in a wedding, it's considered to be a very elite group of people. That is how we always consider. Now, when we talk about the fruits, is it only the fruits that is there in this particular place? No, the verse says that there are a lot of coconut trees, as well as trees which is going to bear all the different types of beetles and all these as well. So we are able to see the entire place filled with richness, wealth, and at the same time nourishing fruits. Now, apart from this, Lord Shiva is dancing in this place. The place is filled with water, or rather it is a little bit wet, and because of that there are a lot of corals being grown in that place also. And Lord Shiva is dancing there with a beautiful dress, and the dress is made out of skin from a tiger. We will discuss about what is the skin, how was this taken and all these later, because it's going to come up as a different episode for us. But all we need to know is this particular verse talks about Lord Shiva's dress. So he is wearing this particular tiger skin as his dress, and he is dancing as a cosmic dancer. He is dancing in Thillai. That is what verse number 5 talks about.
Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion on the 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Padigam. In that, we are going to talk about the 6th verse. We have been talking about Lord Shiva's cosmic dance all the way from toe to head. So, today we are going to focus on his abdominal part. So, today's verse is all about that. Let's look at the verse first. Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. அது மதி இது என்று அலந்தலை நூல் கற்று அழை பொழிந்தருமாறை அறிந்து பிதுமதி வழி நின்று ஒழிவில வேள்வி பெரியவர் பெரும்பற்ற போலியூர் சேதுமதி சமணும் தேரரும் சேரா செல்வ சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா மதுமதி வெள்ள திருவயிற்றுந்தி வாழைப்புண்டு என்னுளம் மகிழ்ந்ததுவே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். So, let's get on to this. We all know stomach area represents the place where all the fire related work will be done. When we divide our body, or when we categorize our body based on certain areas, right? We know God stands for generator, observer, and at the same time destroyer. So the place where we get everything destroyed or broken down or decomposed, that is basically in our stomach area. Stomach area is always going to have a warmth. That is why the triple warmer also is part of our stomach area. And this particular verse, since it's also talking about the stomach area, they are also focusing in terms of something called as the yagam. Yagam is nothing but the ritual that we do with a fire. In this verse, today's thoughts or today's idea is being resonated here. We always have an idea that we must be reading a lot of books. Here is knowledge and there is knowledge, and we just get so confused with so much of information around us, and especially with all the social media and all the gadgets that we are having, we are getting even more distracted nowadays, isn't it? Now, when we talk about reading a book, there is a reference to another book. We will immediately ask for the other book and we'll start reading it. And this goes as a vicious cycle, and it doesn't stop anywhere. Are we getting the satisfaction of reading a book in the first place? Obviously no. That is what the first verse here talks about. The author says, don't just go and read on books and books and books. It's not going to help you. What's the advantage of that? After you read a book, probably you're sitting and arguing with someone about what is right and what is wrong, only based on your limited knowledge. Rather, what we have to do is just surrender ourselves to Lord Shiva. He will make us understand all the information from a book. If you want to read a book, what is the content of a book will go into your head directly if Lord Shiva gives you the grace. So what we have to do, instead of toiling over in reading a book, just surrender yourself. And that kind of an approach is the most important one. The surrendering part is the most important one, which will help us gain the real knowledge, the real knowledge is not going to be sought out by reading books. And in this, he also says we are talking about the most auspicious people living in the place called as Thillai Chitrambalam. In that place, Lord Shiva is performing his cosmic dance, and while he's doing his dance, I'm able to focus on his stomach area, and I'm losing myself at looking at that. Just a look at that itself, because it's so beautiful, and I know it is conquering me throughout. That is what today's verse is all about. Beautiful verse which gives us an idea that reading books and searching for knowledge outside is not going to help us. Rather, surrender to Lord Shiva and he will give us the guidance and knowledge. Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupathikam, 7th verse. One another beautiful verse. Let's look at the verse first. Tiruchitrambalam. ஒருவரை புயத்தின் மீமிசை புலித்தோல் கொடியணி பூணனுலகலம் பெருவரை புடை புரைதின் தோளுடன் காண பெற்றவர் பெரும் பற்ற போலியோர் திருமருவுதர தார்மிசை அடைப்ப நடம் செய் சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா உருமருவுதர தனிவடம் தொடர்ந்து கிடந்ததென் உணர்வுணர்வுணர்ந்தே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். As I said, we are already discussing this second Thirupathikam in such a way that we are able to meditate on the cosmic dancer. All the way from the toe to the head is what we have been talking about. And in today's verse, we are going to focus on the stomach area of the cosmic dancer. This verse starts as Lord Shiva, in the form of cosmic dancer, is dancing in the place called as Thillai, which is also called as Tiruchitrambalam. While he's dancing, obviously the body parts are going to dance as well, right? As in the movement is going to be there, which means his beautiful shoulders are moving, and his shoulders are so broad, something like a macho man that we can imagine as of today. It's so broad, and it is also dancing along with the rhythm of the cosmic dancer. And with in that particular body, he is wearing the holy ashes. Not only that, he is covering it with a skin which is called as the tiger skin. He is also covering his body with the tiger skin, and he is also having the holy sacred thread across his shoulders. Not only that, we have to visualize Lord Shiva in the form of a cosmic dancer in between our eyebrows. We call it as the Olakka Mandapam. When we are able to visualize Lord Shiva as in the form of cosmic dancer over there, that is what the ultimate meditative state is all about. Once we start meditating on this particular posture, obviously we will start getting rid of our karmic deeds, and we will start to see tremendous improvement in our spiritual journey. And the author here, the saint here says, while I'm watching this particular dance, I'm able to see his stomach region also changing and moving along with the rhythm, and he's wearing a long chain which is made of Rudraksh, and that chain is also moving, and that beautiful movement captures my attention. That is what today's verse is all about. Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupathikam, 8th verse. Again, it's a beautiful verse. Let's look at the verse first. Tiruchitrambalam. கணியேறி விசிறு கரம் தூடி விடவாய் கங்கணம் செங்கை மற்றாபயம் பிணிகெட இவை கண்டு உன் பெருநடத்தில் பிரிவிலார் பெரும்பற்ற போலியோர் திணிமணி நீல கண்ட தென்னாமுதே சீர்கொள் சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா அணிமணி முறுவல் பவளவாய் செய்ய சோதியுள் அடங்கிற்று என் அறிவே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Again, we are going to talk about the beauty, the magnanimity of Lord Shiva's cosmic dance. Today, we don't have a choice but to compare with Unmai Vilakam, even though my intention was not to touch on Siddhantam while going through these particular verses, especially the 5-minute series. But today, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult without going through Unmai Vilakam, because it will give us more detailed understanding of this particular verse. It starts as Lord Shiva is holding on to fire in one of his hands. We all know fire represents Na in the 5-letter syllable mantra, which is Namasivaya. So Na is represented as the fire, and he's in this particular verse he says this is the best fire that we can see. How can a fire be a best fire or a better fire, right? That's something which is unbelievable. The reason why we call this as the best fire is because it helps to burn out all our karmic deeds and effect. Not only that, Lord Shiva's one of the hand is focusing on his feet. If you look at Lord Shiva's cosmic dance, you can see one of the hand swaying to the other side as if pointing to his toe, the little toe that has been in the dancing position, right? So that is basically represented as Va in Namasivaya. And the next one is the musical instrument called as Damaru. We call it as Tudi. This is represented as C in Namasivaya. And according to Unmai Vilakam, verse number 36, it talks about, because when you look at the small little Tudi, it is shaken in the other side, both sides. So which means Lord Shiva is helping us, as in the souls, to get rid of our Maya. And we all know he is the one who is helping us in getting rid of our karmic deeds and helping us in getting on to the next level in our spiritual journey. So, Lord Shiva is wearing on to something called as a kanganam. In Tamil, kanganam means something like we tie on our wrist in order to take a promise or an oath. Now, when we say we are taking an oath for human beings like us, yes, we need it. Even when we are taking up a parliamentary position or in a police or in a doctor, we do take oaths. Now, let's look at Lord Shiva. Why does he need to take a promise, an oath? There is no need for it, right? But he does. One of his intentions is to make sure that we all get our realization, attain self-realization or salvation. And that is the only promise that he has for himself, that whatever it is, he is going to release us from this vicious cycle of birth and death. That is why Lord Shiva is wearing the kanganam. And not only that, we should also take the promise of getting rid of our birth. So what should we do in order to get to this state is to visualize the cosmic dancer with all his, the fire and the damaru and all these. We have to visualize that in order to go on to the next level. Beautiful dance is being performed by Lord Shiva, the cosmic dancer, in Chidambaram, which is Thillai. And while he's performing the dance, we are able to see his beautiful, mesmerizing smile along with his beautiful teeth. And wherever we see his smile, our, when we talk about our intellect, which always searches for knowledge, that comes to a halt, that comes to a standstill. The standstillness is the most important state of mind while we are meditating, and Lord Shiva, the cosmic dancer, helps in that. That is what verse number 8 is all about. Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back. We are continuing our discussion on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupadigam, and we are going to start with the 9th verse. The verse goes this way. Thirumaaligai திருக்கடை காவலில் நேருக்கி பெருமுடி மோதி உகுமணி முன்றில் பிறங்கிய பெரும்பற்ற போலியூர் சேரு நெடுமேரு வில்லின் முப்புறம் தீ விரித்த சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா கருவடி குழைக்காத மலச்செங்கமல மலர் முகம் கலந்தது என் கருத்தே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Beautiful verse, because we have been discussing about the cosmic dancer all the way from toe to head. Today, in this verse, we are going to talk about the beautiful face of Lord Shiva. The face is similar to lotus, and somehow it is so flawless that it's attracting my mind, and my heart is totally immersed in that, and my mind is full of Lord Shiva's beautiful, graceful face. That is what the author, as in the saint, is talking about in the last line of this verse. He is also mentioning about the beauty of Lord Shiva in the when he's talking about the face, but at the same time he is also talking about the valor of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, what he did was, in order to safeguard the devas and as well as humans, what he did, as in not humans, the souls basically, right, the lives or the souls, what he did was he took Mount Meru and he was able to just bend it in the form of a bow and arrow and he was able to destroy the 3 flying fortress, which is basically a symbolic representation of Arnavam, Kanmam and our Maya. He was able to do that in order to safeguard this entire universe, because what is so predominant in us is our Arnavam, Kanmam and Maya, and those are the 3 which is actually destroying us and not letting us move to the next step. So Lord Shiva managed to destroy it with the help of the Mount Meru. Actually, he did not use that. He was just, that's an interesting story that we have to also discuss about. He took the arrow, a bow and arrow, but he did not use it. What he did was he just smiled at the fortress and all the 3 fortresses burnt into ashes. Right. And in the first line he says, as in the saint says, you know who is coming to visit Lord Shiva? If you look at Thillai, there are all the devas over there, right from Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, and all of those, the big authoritative people, the devas are there, and they are standing in queue to visit Lord Shiva. But the crowd is so damn heavy that they needed a crowd control measure somehow, and they were all standing in a queue. And because of it was so cumbersome, the place was full of, it was very crowded, that their crowns were hitting against one another. And because of that, all the precious stones that they had in their thrones fell down to the earth. And because of those precious stones or the gems, the entire place is so filled with vibrant lights. It is because of all the devas standing there in a very crowded manner. That place is Thillai Chitrambalam, and in that place our cosmic dancer is performing his beautiful, wonderful, gracious dance, and his face has attracted me. That is what this 9th verse is all about. Sivaya Naman, Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupathigam and the 10th verse. Let's look at the verse first. Tiruchitrambalam. ஏர்கொள் கற்பகமோ திருசீலை புருவம் பெருந்தடங்கண்கள் 3 பேர்கள் 1000 100,000 பேதற்றும் வெற்றியோர் பெரும்பற்ற போலியோர் சீர்கொள் கொக்கிறதும் கொன்றையும் துன்று சென்னி சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா நீகொள் செஞ்சடைவாள் புதுமதி மத்தம் நிகழ்ந்த என் சிந்தையுள் நீரைந்தே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். We have been talking about Lord Shiva, the cosmic dancer, all the way from the toe to the head. Today, we are going to talk about his beautiful hair. Before the earlier verse, we spoke about his beautiful face, the most attractive face that you can ever see. While we are changing our attention or shifting our attention all the way to his head, we need to obviously go through his forehead. And there we are able to see his third eye, and not only that, his brows have been beautifully, it stands still and it looks like a bow. And beyond that is his beautiful, we call it as Sada Magudam. Magudam means crown. If you look at it, who will be crowned? Only the prince or princess or the king or the queens. Lord Shiva has been crowned. Was it done externally? No. It is done in a natural way. So, since no one gave him that position, obviously no one can remove it from him also. So, it is going to be there. The position called as the king of this universe is always going to be with him, and no one has the authority to remove it from him. No one is able to do it also. Right. So, what is there in his beautiful hair? Because he has done up a beautiful hair dressing. So let's look at what are the beautiful ornaments that he is having in his hair. He is having a nice little crescent and Ganga, which is the river Ganges, and along with that he is having one of the flower which is called as Umattai. It is a very commonly known flower which has been ignored by human beings. We usually don't even go near to that particular plant, or we don't even smell that flower. It is considered to be, we discriminate that flower to make it very simple. So we have a discrimination against that. You look at Lord Shiva, whatever we had been discriminating and throwing away from us, he has taken that in such a loving manner, and he has decorated his hair dressing with that, which gives us a confidence that if everyone around us is throwing away us, or not only throwing tantrums at us, even they are cursing us, or they are just making sure that we are being ignored, we don't need to worry. Lord Shiva is there to give us whatever we need, the love that we need and the care that we need. Lord Shiva is there to give us. You look at the crescent. The crescent made a mistake. Because of his guilt, he got a particular curse, and in order to get rid of this curse, he went and surrendered himself to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva took that crescent and kept on his forehead, and in a beautiful manner it is decorating, and after that the curse did not affect the crescent. Not only that, if you look at the Ganges, river Ganges, it came with so much of a ferocious flow. And when we are ferocious, we have to think that Lord Shiva is there to control us. So, whatever it is for the souls in this life, for this particular planet, when we are going through a hard time, all we have to remember is Lord Shiva is there for us to give us the consolation, whatever we need. Not only that, Lord Shiva is also having a bird's feather, and also he's having the kondrai flower on his head, or the dressed hair, and that basically covers my entire memory, soul and my mind. That is what the saint is talking about in this particular verse.
Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on 9th Thirumurai, 2nd Thirupathikam, 11th verse. Let's look at the verse first. Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Kamana kalan takkan mikechan padakadai kanitavanalla பீமானம் பிரிந்த தவ பெரும் தொண்டர் தொண்டனின் பெரும்பற்ற போலியோர் சேமன்னல் தில்லை வட்டம் கொண்டாண்ட செல்வ சிற்றம்பல கூத்தா பூமலரணிந்த அடிக்கீழ் புராண பூதங்கள் பொறுப்பரின் புன் சொல்லின் போருளே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். This is the finale verse in this particular Thirupadigam, which is the 11th verse, and this concludes the entire beautiful meditative Thirupadigam, where we were meditating on Lord Shiva, which is called the cosmic dancer, all the way from his foot to his head, so or to his hair. So what we were trying to do is meditate on each and every part, and we were trying to digest each and every part and try to understand the reason behind the cosmic dance, and also to say that our mind has to come to a standstill next time when we are visualizing those parts, or even when we are able to see the cosmic dancer in front of us in the form of a statue or a drawing or a painting or whatever it is. The last verse comes in as a conclusion verse, as we said, comes in as just like a surrender. Because when we are singing these padigams, when we are able to sing verse by verse, not always our mind will be in a standstill approach that we will be only thinking of Lord Shiva, because we all know how temporary our mind gets attached or entangled to something. It just keeps jumping here and there, and especially nowadays, because of the influence of the technology, mobile phones and all these applications and all these, our concentration power is much lower, practical reasons. And because of that, we are not able to sit in one place in a still approach and keep our mind even more still. When we are experiencing those kind of turbulence in our mind, obviously our thoughts will be drifted off Lord Shiva. In those cases, there is a possibility our karmic deeds will influence while we are even singing. When we look at it, our lips would be chanting on and singing, but our mind would have just been drifted off, and then it would have come back. In those cases, obviously the karmic effect would have been attacking our words also. Then those words will lose its magical power or the miraculous power. That is why here he is using the word punmorigal, which means the verse which doesn't have the necessary magical power, which means while we are singing, we have to fully be focusing on the Thirupadigam itself. What Lord Shiva was able to do is, just with a simple thought, he was able to destroy Kaman, which is the Cupid, as well as Kalan, which is, we all know, Lord Yama. Not only that, he punished Takkan, Yechen kind of people. Those are also called as blessing, because we call Lord Shiva's blessing as two forms. One is just a slap, another one could be just a hug. We call it as the carrot and the cane, right? Exactly the same way Lord Shiva also motivates, or rather make sure that all his disciples, all his the souls that is around here is following the right path. So over here, Lord Shiva was able to punish them and bring them back to the right path. Similar to that, while I'm singing this, even with not so right words, not so right meaning or whatever, I'm sure not only Lord Shiva, even the souls, the enlightened souls who are stay put beneath his, we call it as the Shiv Log, the place where all the entire enlightened souls are going to live is called as the Shiv Log. People who are there will also be able to make sure that I am they are pardoning me, basically, right? So because when we make a mistake, we need someone to pardon us, and I'm sure they will pardon me. That is what the author or the saint for this particular padigam is concluding his verse as. Lovely verse, because we should be singing this on a daily basis to say that whatever sin I'm doing, whatever mistake I'm doing, I need your blessings. I need you to pardon me of all my mistakes and make sure that I'm getting back to the right path. Such a lovely verse. I'll come back again with the next verse very soon. Until then, Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitram.